and lovely Saturday evening, and you're right here tuned to Invicta 98.9 FM. First off, I'd like to say Happy May Day or Happy Workers' Day. All right, it's coming straight to you from Invicta 98.9 FM and on the program Ground Zero. My name is Ehis Adbon, and today on the program Ground Zero, we shall generally be taking a look at the nation, security situation, and matters arising. And like always, it promises to be very, very interesting because on the program today, I actually have two guests. Very soon you get to hear them as they join me on the program. And also you get to meet them formally. But before then, I'd like to let you know that you, the listener, can be a part of today's discussion by going to the various social media handles of Invicta FM and also of the Ground Zero radio program. First, you can go to Facebook page of Invicta FM. Yes, the Facebook page of Invicta FM is at Invicta FM Kaduna. And there you will see the live transmission of what's happening. And also add your voice, add your comment. Let's talk about what is happening in Nigeria. You can also go to the Twitter handles of Invicta FM at Invicta FM 989 at Invicta FM 989. And if you are on Instagram, you can also go to at Invicta FM 989 on Instagram. That's on Invicta FM Instagram handle. And of course, for the program specific handles, you can go to first Twitter at Ground Zero 247 at Ground Zero 247. That's the Ground Zero Show Twitter handle. And for those that want to be on, that are on Instagram, you can watch us live now on Instagram. And all you need to do is to go to Ground Zero Show. Ground Zero Show. And you'll be able to see my nice and lovely face, and of course, the very, very beautiful guests that we have. One already seated, we are waiting for the next. And not forgetting too that generally at some point in the course of the program, we'll open up the phone lines so that you, the listener, can add your voice to our conversation. So I tell you, keep the dial locked right here on Invicta 98.9 FM. Talking about my guests, I already have in the house Danjuma Abbas Dangwa and Eddie Ochigbo. First, let's introduce Danjuma Abbas Dangwa. Danjuma Abbas Dangwa, he is from the Coalition of Association in Leadership, Peace, Empowerment and Development, CALPED. Danjuma, you are welcome to Ground Zero.
Thank you very much, Ahis. It's a pleasure being here today.
I also have with me on the program this lovely evening, Eddie Ochigbo. Eddie Ochigbo is a veteran journalist and a media strategist. Eddie Ochigbo, you are welcome to Ground Zero.
Thank you very much, Ahis, and my respectful greetings to the listening public. And I say Happy Workers' Day.
All right.
Yes.
I'm a worker, so I'll say thank you so much.
Yes.
So, today on the program, we'll be looking at the state of the nation with specific focus on security and how this particular day that we are celebrating, how the workers can be a part of strengthening the security in the country and how whatever happens to the workers would affect the security of the country by extension. And we'll start by, first of all, looking at Nigeria, and not just Nigeria, because on this day, several other countries are also celebrating Workers' Day. Yes, some countries have their own specific date and time, but generally on May 1st, Nigeria and many other countries mark the Workers' Day. And the International Labour Organization is also in the picture of all of this because the welfare of the worker is something that they hold very dear. They regulate and draw up rules of engagement between the employer and the employee. In Nigeria, roughly less than 15% of the total workforce in Nigeria is of the workforce in Nigeria is engaged by the government that they are public workers. The bulk actually work in the private sector, and many others are self-employed. And in Nigeria also, probably because of our socioeconomic nature, whatever happens to the public worker would have its ripple effect on the society in general. And for our dear state Kaduna, we will be starting from Kaduna and expanding it to look at Nigeria and generally see how all of this work together. How first, Danjuma Abbas Dangwa, I want you to give us your perspectives on how you think the workforce, the peace, joy, happiness, or the comfort of the worker will affect the security architecture of the nation. Danjuma.
Well, thank you so much, Ahis. The Nigerian worker has been a point of attention, especially for this day, since the declaration by Abubakar Rimi of blessed memory, the former governor of Kano State. We have come to revere May 1st, and May 1st should be revered for a lot of reasons. The workers generally are the lifeblood of the functionality of the systems that we have, whether in government, private sector, and down to even raw materials or resource mobilization.
Yeah.
These people, as industrious as they are taking their turns, doing shifts, in most instances not really appreciated. And when they are not appreciated or motivated, you can get to have the negative outcomes that happens along the chain, where they also provide services as they continue to interact with the people. I remember you were on this program some time ago talking about the attitude that is witnessed from public service as you step into our airports and all of that patronage that is seemingly as if it's beggarly, and all of that is reflective of how secured or insecure the worker feels, or how satisfactory the kind of satisfaction they derive from what they do. And all of that always translates most often than not in how the worker responds to his service. We are thankful for us in Kaduna, our workers resume on Monday if they're in public service. They, especially at state level, they resume on Mondays, and they are closing work on Fridays, probably after Friday prayer or not before.
Yeah.
If in the course of my travels, I know that I have been to states where workers will resume on Tuesday from their weekends, and then by Thursday, that there is no any visibility of anybody going to the office on Friday, because they are sure the governor has traveled and everybody is traveling. So you have that kind of situation that resonates around the workforce. So whatever it is, and along the line of service delivery, that is where we get to know the health of whether our workers are adequately catered for or they are not. And some way, somehow, I can remember a former president when he was addressing how corruption can be stemmed. He said, you cannot fight corruption when the welfare of the Nigerian working population is underemployed or not satisfied with having the access to basic amenities of life. Okay. He said the corruption in the public sector you want to stem, or the private sector, will continue until you have provided quality education for the child to attend, or in public schools where this person doesn't have to go and pay so much more, in private institutions for education. And then he's also talking about access to water, access to health care, where all of these things are affordable for the public servant, for the civil servant, for the common man, that all of these things are accessible, then you will begin to, combat or fight corruption. Thankfully, we have a lot of social investments that have been developed over the years for the Nigerian workers. The question is, how well have these social investments really translated to improving the security of our workforce?
Yeah.
The National Housing Fund Scheme, the National Health Insurance Fund Scheme, the National Social Investment Trust Fund, and a whole lot of others, pensions and what have you. In fact, the pension scheme now under the what do they call them? Contributory pensions, that is under pension fund administrators. Yes, PFAs. You find that how well have that really provided succor to the worker after the years of service. I think these are the issues that we'll continue to have to reflect upon and resonate with as we come to understand why and how much we can actually aspire for in terms of public service and what we're getting.
All right. You have just basically given us what the situation is like and how it resonates with you. Now, we'll come to Eddie Ochi, but while you were talking, you mentioned something about job security.
Yeah.
And how that will reflect in the attitude of the worker to his work and all of that. Job security apart now, since you've mentioned it, let's now look at job security of the average Nigerian worker. How secured would you say the public worker now is? How secured is his job? One. Then secondly, even the private sector, we know that government policies and programs also affect those that are in private employ, because if the government policy or program does not in any way help to boost the economy or that particular sector where the worker is, then his job might not be as secured as he would have wanted it to be, on the one hand. Then secondly, the general attitude of private individuals to those working for them and with them. Eddie, give us your perspective on this.
Thank you very much, Ahiz. And that's a very, very intelligent question. Labor is significant in any system, be it authoritative, democratic, whatever it is. Labor remains, the strength of the system, because without labor there is no system at all. And to give you a very good example, in UK, in Britain, the Labour Party, that is the Art of Labour Party, came out of it till today.
Yeah. And
they have taken over government before. Government is now the Conservatives between them, just like the Republican and the Democrat. To tell you the strength and the significance of Labour. Labour, as far as I'm concerned, especially in this era of what is the name of this Labour president? He's not active, so I cannot even remember it. Paul, what's his name? Ayuba, somebody. Waba. Oshomole rode on the back of Labour into politics, became governor, became chairman of a party, and all this, to tell you how strong Labour is. Today, the kind of Labour we have does not labour for the people.
I remember the good old days of the Dosumus.
The Hassan Somonus, the twin Somonus. So everything has gone cold about Labour. And that's why today we are celebrating May Day, and you can see that everything is cold. Nobody's talking about it. It's a pity that government missionaries or tactics have kind of consumed or overwhelmed the strength of labor in Nigeria. It's very sad that Labour cannot stand up on behalf of the people to say no. Rather, they go and negotiate with the government and, smile to the bank while the labor force itself, suffers under total neglect. The job security that my colleague here is talking about is real. There's no job security. You talked about the percentage of people in government, in public service, compared to private, and you can see that, it's the private sector that drives any economy. And today, it's unfortunate that it's just few corporations and then maybe big companies that actually know what job security is all about. Today, you hear clearly, and they defend it, the casualization of labor. People are doing casual jobs and they suffer endlessly, and they die in the process without entitlements. Poor remunerations without entitlement. So it's a very sad narrative. And today, as we celebrate the May Day of 2021, I think those who are in the leadership of Labour should reflect whether they actually know the power and the significance of labor in any system.
Wow. This, I would say, it's a hard ball or hard knock. But we cannot also say in totality that they are not doing anything. Just that they might not have been as vibrant as your Shomoles, the Sumonos, the Pascal Bafiaou, and all of them that had come.
Bafiaou came, he entered as a presidential candidate.
Yes.
Trying to, see whether he can borrow a leaf from Britain.
Yeah.
But he became weak in the process. It didn't just work. I don't know why.
Politics in Nigeria, it's not like elsewhere. The formula that works elsewhere, you apply it in Nigeria. They will say you are on your own.
Especially when it involves money politics.
In Nigeria, we know politics and money go hand in hand. You cannot divorce the two of them in Nigeria. Okay, now, still talking about, we have laid all the foundation that we need to lay. Let's now come home. And in recent time in Kaduna State, there has been this running battle between the Labour and the state government over retrenchment of local government workers and those working in the primary health sector and so many others. Recently, I know that the chairman of the Labour Congress in Kaduna came out and said that roughly about 3,000 people were laid off without following the due process, and because of that, they are warming up to embark on an industrial action next week. How all of this will play out and how it would end, we really wouldn't be able to say. But what I want us to look at now is the fact that some people were asked to go and rest. The state government is saying they do not need as much workforce as they used to, and for those that do not fit into the scheme of things in the state, they would have to let them go. Now, looking at the security situation in the country, is the call right? Then secondly, looking at the security situation in the country, if it is right, is this the right time to do it?
Timing.
But if it is wrong, what should be the way out? Because of course, limited resources would say it's real. The fact that we do not have as much money as we used to have is real. How then do we work all of this out? And in the mix of all of this discussion, there is I don't know if to call it a rumor or a gist of a revert to the old minimum wage of 18,000 if they are to keep some of the workforce that presently the government claim are unnecessary. All of this is creating a mix for us that we need to properly understand. I'll start with Danjuma.
Well, You know, that is the reason why we every day are enlightening people about budget. Most of the time you find that budget performances are leaning more towards recurrent expenditure than capital expenditure. Now that recurrent expenditure is the expenditure that relates directly to personnel cost, directly to overheads, that is salaries, allowances, work stationary items, equipment, maintenance, everything down to building, all of that. Governments in Nigeria have not really done as much as we have seen in Kaduna in recent, because the current government came with a mindset of adopting a 60 to 40% budget.
Okay.
60 in favor of capital, 40% in favor of the recurrent expenditure.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, at the point of performance, however, you will still find that while recurrent expenditure is performing wonderfully, the capital expenditure is performing around 39% and below, on that kind of average. So, year in, year out, the challenge that government is faced with is within these scarce and limited resources, what services could be delivered to the people. Remember again that the entire size of the civil service in every state is not even up to 10% of the population of the entire state.
Yeah.
And so this population, this entire civil service or public service is depending on revenue remittances from the same population to be poured into the coffers of government so that most of the desired results will be realized.
Yeah.
In most of the instances, our governments have been financing more the recurrent component of that entire budget than really translating to meaningful developments for the people.
Yeah.
So yes, at the local government levels, month in, month out, for some years now, a lot of local governments have been on red. Red because the IGR and whatever revenue you are talking about, by the time it comes into their accounts and they settle all of those wage bill and everything, they are now unable to do anything at all. And some people have managed local governments in that capacity, not having the possibilities and chances of even executing projects. And that is the situation. But be it as it may, these people who are enlisted into civil service are also part of what government is doing as a measure to provide social security and to also reduce the unemployment indices, which are actually indicators of underdevelopment when they are on the high. Okay. Now, how government has been able, whether or not government have been able to restructure what it has in terms of its workforce towards other areas of profitability or service delivery is actually another thing and a matter for contention. But I believe that while the decision is necessary, I think that the approach is wrong. The approach is wrong because if somebody is going to be laid off work, that person should be prepared for such a shock. That person should be prepared for what is to come. This is something that we know happens as a retirement protocol. People are sent on courses to learn how to manage now very lean resources, develop some small level of enterprise that they can live off while they await the little things that trickle down to them. The preoccupation of our military officers. Most of the time they retire, you see them setting up farms. And these are ways that they contribute back to the economy and do so much. So I expect that in the entire effort to ensure that we have a public service that is able to deliver in the best interest of the people, we should also have been mindful that in what we call social protection today, we are able to midwife this process in such a way that people are just able to transit seamlessly into a well-managed environment that allows them to still remain productive even while they are out of public service. And remember that these people that you are sending out there should have some level of meaning to life, because there is dignity in labor.
Yeah.
So if there is dignity in labor, people should not just be given the boot every time that decisions are being made. The human capital is the one that comes under undue advantage, and such level of treatment is not what we had anticipated. But now come down to the government that is trimming down itself. How much of this kind of wage bill is it attracting around the political echelon of government, not the administrative part? And how well have they been able to lean there to streamline these resources in ways that can tell the citizen the confidence that yes, indeed, government is practicing what it preaches. So these are the challenges, that are before them, and I believe that they will have done better if social protection as a policy, was really carefully followed in the dispensation of this act.
All right. Yes, practicing what you preach, a big word and a nice one coming from Danjuma Abbas Dangwa. We'll quickly take some messages and we'll be right back on the program Ground Zero. All right, welcome back from that commercial timeout. You're still listening to Ground Zero on Invicta 98.9 FM. My guest on the program today are Eddie Ochidbo. He's a veteran journalist and a media strategist, and Danjuma Abbas Dangwa. He is, I would say, good governance advocate, one that has so much interest in development. I can say he's a development worker, and he's from the Coalition of Association in Leadership, Peace, Empowerment and Development, CALPED. So Martins, you're welcome. Before that commercial timeout, Martins was talking about the need for dignity in labor and putting in place everything that would ensure the social protection of every worker and indeed every citizen in Kaduna State. I am indeed in for the state government properly putting in place that social protection policy that will ensure that no person in Kaduna State is left behind. Now, coming to Eddie, we've talked about all of this. Now, I want us to have a direct link to how it affects security, because the biggest problem that we have in Nigeria today is insecurity. Yeah. And we know that the most of the time, those that have been found to be in all of this. Take, for example, some of the bandits that were arrested some time back said because they've lost their means of livelihood, that's why they went into that. Those that their cattle were also, some went into that. Those that lost their jobs, some went into that. Of course, that's not an excuse, but we can't say that one thing that we can take away from humans is that the first rule of survival is self-preservation, and we know that source of livelihood, source of income is one of the tools that would ensure one's self-preservation, and the job is one that will give us that. Eddie, how does all of this translate to the level of security or insecurity that we have in Nigeria?
Thank you, Ahis. Before we talk about the impact of the step on security, let me re-emphasize one issue raised by Dangwa here. That's social security, because I've been following social protection closely, and I'm sure that the government has actually, enacted a law, and then
the policy
is out, but
the policy is out there.
It has not yet been passed.
But that's to say it's embraced by government.
Yes.
And that's the point I'm trying to make. If that is embraced by government, you cannot be mounting social protection and making social protection more difficult, because these people that you throw out of the system without adequately, looking at what retirement is all about,
how they survive.
How would they survive? They still go back into the social network to be captured by social protection, that you say, okay, let everybody be. So it's a contradiction that if you are mounting social protection and you are creating problems, in what you are trying to start. Because I don't see where you will accommodate these 4,000 or many thousand workers that you're going to throw out. First and foremost, we've heard this is not the first time we've heard that so many people who were forced out of the system 2-3 years ago, they have not yet received their entitlements. So like you said, step in the right direction at the wrong time, and there's no strategy about it. There are things you can do with force, the labor force. They call it a labor force. If you want to throw people this amount, why don't you even create some kind of entrepreneurship, platforms for them? Okay. Empower them. That look, we are not just throwing you out of this. You can go back. We have to form some kind of cooperative, outfit for you. That now we even want you to go into farming something. Tell us what you can farm so that the government can support you. You don't throw people out because people have children in school, they need to feed themselves. Especially against the backdrop that you are even unable to, pay them their entitlements. In some climes, people want to go out of the system just to go and receive the what will come. The terminal benefit will make you comfortable.
Yes.
So you can see that there's a contradiction in a country like our country, Nigeria now, that people will be afraid to go out of the system. Going out of the system is a death sentence, which it should not be so. It ought not to be so.
It ought not to be so. That's your position to all of these. But you still have not directly linked it to insecurity that's pervading.
It's very clear now. What do you want to say?
I want you to say it.
We have hammered this thing time and time again. No, Martin, let me just tell you if you want me to make. Yeah. It tells you that insecurity could worsen because you remember today it's on record that they are dangling carrots for people to be recruited in Niger. Giving that, when I say carrots, money. So somebody that you throw out of the system, for instance, and if he's still very strong, that he can go and carry arms, is angry with the system. You have not paid him. So if you come and dangle a few 100,000 few this to come, you go and carry arms.
Not forgetting that he has dependents, that if you cannot cater to their needs,
you don't create room for what will worsen the state of insecurity. My point is that the pushing out people, not now that we are trying to address and see how we can cut the insecurity, push people out of this thing. You make them vulnerable for recruitment into the banditry or whatever.
I was going to even add that what even worsens insecurity in that situation is the level of skill and training that these people have. The kind of information that is at their disposal
from the system
that they can actually take back there and come and run government aground. These are very, very troubling. Because these people have skills. And that is very detrimental if they are not put
engage
to proper
them. That's
use.
my point. Yes. Engage them in some kind of government-supported entrepreneurship.
And it also puts in fear and insecurity into the minds of the people who sit and are now in service, who are executing these jobs. Because by the time they have the feelers that they could actually fall victims of what may have happened to their colleagues in time past, it affects the morale.
All right. 081400989 and 07087800989 are the numbers to dial to add your voice to our conversation this evening. I have our first caller. Hello, good evening. Welcome to Ground Zero.
Yes. Eddie, good evening, and Kanjuba.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Honestly, you people have spoken very well. But yes, I just want to give you assurance that we don't have labor in this country now. My reasons are just like this. If the labor are functioning, I don't think all these things that is happening will be taking place. So we don't have labor. Let us just pray. Because it seems to me that the labor now, they only cater for their family. Otherwise, at least all this barbarism that is going in this country, we have not been seeing it.
All right.
Those days are gone as that Oshomole and Co. I was expecting him as he should give this regime advice so that they will take care of the labor, but he just went there and forget about it. Have a wonderful day. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kure. 081400989 and 070-87-800-989. We have Comrade Gabriel on the line. Comrade Gabriel, good evening. Comrade Gabriel, good evening.
Hello. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. You are welcome to the program.
Yes, sir. Sir, as I'm just speaking to you, I'm just coming from a labor house where they went to lecture us on what actually is on the ground.
Okay.
It's just very, very unfortunate, just as what your men are saying in the studio there. You have labor and we didn't have labor. In the sense that those days, when I was in the Texas, they stand firmly on an issue. They don't say we are going to arrange to make a strike or something like that. This access is that immediately to the government. You can imagine how people have been laid off and the labor will go round and round and round. They may not take anything, but the problem that the government in power does not seem to understand what the people are saying. So, sir, what I'm saying that when I went there, I told them we have some family who the parent died, the mother died, the children even died in the Texas, and I had a record of 480 workers who died from KTL only. I'm not talking of Arewa, not talking Panther and Tosses, and nobody said anything. The Adam we are saying, we work hand to hand with him. I was just be like his back man. But since he went to become in politics, he has forgotten about the Texas. So we don't know, sir. We are pleading that you should invite even the Texas Union, whether they can come and say something, because from all we are saying, sir, and the process of Texas is opening now, I don't know how I'm going to say, sir.
Okay.
We thank your grace there for the opportunity given to me to speak, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Comrade Gabriel. Hello, good evening. Welcome to Ground Zero.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. You're welcome to the program. What's your name and where are you calling us from?
This is Sam calling from Kaduna here.
Say again, what's the name?
Sam.
Sam.
All right, Sam, let's have your take.
Thank you, sir. You are spoken well. You are spoken well. But it's so surprised that it's so called Nigeria today. We call labor. We only hear it, labor. I remember olden days when I was small. I know how labor. Even if you increase the cost of garri in the market, labor will strike. But today, labor are being decorated as a political office. That's their birthright. In fact, you don't know the difference between labor and the government. If a governor can come out like this today, because these politicians started it in this way. They see Okada men, they seize all their machine. They see Keke, they seize all their machine. They pounded it. Then carry their machines and pour it into a government house. Today, those machine people, they seize their machine, seize everything. Are they not the one now grouping as a Boko Haram and bandits? What is causing insecurity in our nation? Don't you think that this is the only thing that is causing it now today? Labor cannot be able to stand and fight for Nigeria, for a common man in this nation. Where are we today? Which one are we going to talk to? If Adam Oshomole we are talking, he make himself to be blind, and that is the reason why he said. But today, the labor chairman we have is a ceremonial labor. May God help us. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Sam. Hello, good evening. Welcome to Ground Zero.
Good evening, Mr. His.
Good evening. What's your name and where are you calling us
My
from?
name is Musa Bala.
Musa Bala, you're welcome to the program.
My greetings to your guests and my greetings to Invicta family.
Good evening, Musa Bala.
Listeners in Kaduna, Nigeria, and the world over, good evening. Ramadan Karim to my brothers in Muslim brothers in fasting.
Ramadan Karim.
Thank you very much. First and foremost, let me congratulate Labour for another May Day. No matter the challenges, we have Labour in place, and they are there. Secondly, on the unfortunate striking of workers, most especially in Kaduna State. Why I call it unfortunate, I'm not against the striking, but what I'm totally against is the non-payment of the entitlement to the affected staff. It's posing a lot of problems, both economical, psychological, and other problems. I want to use this medium to call on Kaduna State government. We may not stop you from sacking those people you feel they can be sacked, but it is the basic right of these people to be paid their entitlement, no matter how much it is. Maybe somebody may get maybe 500, 1 million to start something. He would even prefer it than remaining where he or she is working. So we are calling on the Kaduna State government to reduce the tension on the land by paying these people their entitlement. But the issue is that by the time that we close our eyes in one evil and choke our eyes on another one, we are going to end up creating a lot of problems. Since 1999, people, government in Kaduna, in Nigeria, have been tyrannically dropping people. Comrade Gabriel, the Tesla man, he know it. The Teslas that were closed from 1999 to 2010, more than 100,000 jobs were lost, directly or indirectly. We kept quiet about it. Even government officials, government ministries and parastatals were deliberately sold off. It was even this government that came up and started paying some of them their entitlement and resumed them in pension. We ought to have stopped this things right from the word go. And instead, other areas of vocational training and other things, hand trained work, we did not, that was the place that the other previous administration even killed, because the textiles and all the factories in Kaduna, they were all dead before 2015. Yeah. And this is the repercussion we are seeing now. So the people that are being sent out from government now, majority of the way the government were employing that time, we knew that there was going to be problem, but we allowed government to be doing that simply because they will just include your name in the payroll because your contribution to one election or the other. So if we were treating our issues right from the beginning, honestly speaking, we would have been free. I'm calling on the Kaduna State government. Please do something. You have to pay these people. It is their entitlement. It is their right. It is not a privilege. Pay them and let them start something. If you do that, that will be very good. I want to say, may God continue blessing Nigeria with good leaders no matter their tribe or religion. And may God distance us from corrupt leaders and their agents anywhere they will find themselves in this country. Nigeria will survive. Nigeria is greater than any individual or any interest group. Thank you very much. Good evening.
Thank you so much. Hello, good evening. You're welcome to Ground Zero.
Thank you. Happy New Month.
Happy New Month. This is Engineer Emmanuel.
Engineer Emmanuel.
All right. Engineer Emmanuel, you're welcome to Ground Zero.
My brother, it's rather unfortunate if really we have labor. Because if you have a dog and the dog, that means you need to find another alternative. Because if there is labor, I don't think the governors or whosoever will be doing what they are doing. So I don't know if they are allegedly envelope do comes to them, and that is why they are not representing the civil servant. How will you disengage somebody from work which is almost due for retirement and is hoping to get his gratuity and be in pension, and you disengage him without anything? It's not acceptable. It's not done. When we are doing this, let's have human feeling and have the fear of God in whatsoever we are doing, so that when we leave the office, people will speak good concerning us. But when you do things, you don't care whatsoever anybody says, it's not your business. It's not done like that. Because I don't believe somebody will work, put all his strength, 35 years or almost 35 years, you just come say you should go, his service is no more needed. For God's sake, where is it done? Is it not only in this client? And the labor are just there. Tomorrow they say they want to embark in warning strike. The next thing you see the thing die off. For me, I don't think we have labor. With all this insecurity, when you begin to deny people their livelihood, what do you expect? An idle man will do a devil workshop. Now he will be thinking how to do something to survive. When he has something, he knows that at the end of the month, the peanut that they are giving him will sustain him. Now you come on, but tell him to go. Even when he's paying, you tell him that he should leave if he cannot buy the place. When will a civil man get 35 million or 40 million to remain in his government residence, which is there that as time goes on, as he retires, instrumental payment will reduce from his occupied place. You just come one morning and you tell everybody you should leave. Is it done elsewhere? Where is the woman? Where is our conscience, for God's sake? Somebody is there today thinking you will be there forever. You can't be there forever. It was somebody that lived there that they came on board.
Yeah.
And then they will live there and that person will come on board.
All right.
If they did it to their own loved one, how will they feel? or if they are not in power and they are doing this to them, what will they say?
All right.
Good evening, Mr. Eve.
Good evening. Engineer Emmanuel is feeling very passionate about all of this. We quite understand that.
Yeah.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to Ground Zero.
You are welcome too. And I thank the honorable men that sat down with you there and they are moderating on it.
All right, what's the name again?
The name is Mike, Mr. Mike.
All right, Mike, in 1 minute, let's have your take.
Yeah. They must let them off so that they will build road for ghosts to come and walk in. Thank you very much.
Unfortunately, you've dropped yours, and that will be our last call for tonight.
But well submitted.
Let's come back to the studio and take our parting shots as we are getting set to wrap up the program this evening. From all that you've had, let's take this call. I think this person has been trying to get across. Hello, good evening. Welcome to Ground Zero.
Good evening, Aish.
Good evening. What's your name and where are you calling us from?
Chika from Goningora.
All right, Chika, let's quickly have your take in 1 minute.
To be fair to our labor union leaders, you know, there are a lot of things that are going on in this country. Anytime a credible process is about to begin to bring up leaders that will lead us with the fear of God.
Yeah.
Some people will go behind and form a kind of faction to fight it. You know how WABA emerged. All of us are aware of all the issues that came about. I'm not a labor or whatever, you know. But these are some of the things. A lot of, you know, I don't want to accuse government, but some people, I don't know them, they go up behind and sabotage the effort of labor union leaders. It has happened in several places, several states in this country. Like, for example, the state where I was before I came here in National State.
Yeah.
Some union leaders died because they were shot by police. By police.
Mike?
In National State.
Mike, you have actually spent your 60 seconds.
Yes, sir, please, I want to say something so that it will be fair to some of these
All right,
leaders.
submit it. Make your submission now. Let's move on.
Okay. The truth is that we must encourage our union leaders to step up their activities in the state.
Okay.
And this thing that the government is doing is not right. You cannot lay off somebody who is a worker, has been there for long. Your own is just 4 years or 8 years. You are over. I think that is not right.
Thank you so much. Danjuma Abbas Zangwa, your parting shots.
Well, the concept of contracting in the workspace for casual employees was not aimed at undervaluing our labor. It was actually meant at compensating for specialized labor that perhaps an establishment cannot afford.
Okay.
But today we have some level of unprotected people, you know, I'd say vulnerable people who have the skill, the competence. They are in the solid minerals industry. They are doing explorations. They are doing minerals exploitation. They are working in companies, in banks, in even formal organizations. They have subcontracted their job role and responsibility to companies wherein it is known that these people will not be paid adequately what is supposed to come to them. If the value of how much a teller used to be in the bank is what the thing to go by, one will have believed that by now the people who are being employed as tellers and are coming on a subcontracted employment will have been paid the same value of the same money, but for the fact that you owe them no remuneration like gratuities and any kind of social investment, then you pay them everything that is their entitlement in a bulk. But that is not the situation. These people are paid pittance, and as the way we are going now, it is the level to which is showing that beyond unemployment we have underemployment as a challenge that is emerging within the Nigerian labor space, and it does not mean well for us as a people. Government must enter a game around social protection. We know what is in these policies. We are not happy that we are seeing urban renewal happening for Kaduna State now, and we are not seeing how these people that the social protection policy is saying will be engaged in most of these menial jobs that are happening.
Yeah.
That is not what we see. However, it is our hope that as we continue to work in progress, as Nigerians continue to become more interested and informed and involved in nation building, perhaps we'll get there sooner than later.
Eddie Oshiba, your parting shots.
Thank you, Ahis. Mine would be that, like Sam, one of the callers said, you cannot be mounting social protection in one hand, and then you are creating more problems for the system that you yourself are trying to package to, capture the poorest of the poor, and then now you put more poor people who are even poorer than the poor, and because you don't pay them the entitlement.
Yeah.
If you don't pay that entitlement, it's a big problem. I'm happy that my friend Musa Bala has called on the state government to look into it, especially those who have been waiting for the past 3 years and all this. Pay them. Pay them. Why? You just pay them.
All right.
And Musa Bala being involved in both national and sub-national level, I think that the government should, listen to his appeal.
All right. Well, I guess that's about the size of the program today. I sincerely want to appreciate my guests and everybody that called in. Danjuma Abbas Zangwa, thank you so much for having time to be on Ground Zero.
Thank you so much, Ace.
Eddie Ochibo.
I'm grateful.
All right, and to you, the caller, sincerely appreciate you, and to all the workers all over the world who say Happy Workers' Day. And of course, to the government would say, always create that platform where the government and the employers in one hand and the labor, the employees in the other hand, can always meet and iron out all of these issues so that we'd have a smooth working relationship, and even when they leave your employment, they should be able to live with their heads held up high and be able to beat their chest and say, indeed, I worked for a person that valued my dignity. Social protection is a must. We should all work for it all because no one should be left behind. Until on Tuesday when I'll be on for another package of the program Ground Zero, I am Ahis Admo, the peacemaker. Plant a tree today, water it and watch it grow. May the good mighty Lord bless and keep us all. See you next week.